Boozed contains adult themes and language. Listener beware. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Boozed, where we get supernatural and shit-faced. I am your host, Camille Monae, and I am here today with a super special guest, best friend of mine and best friend to the show, Kate. Hello.
Hey. I'm so excited. You have no idea.
Well, good. I'm so excited.
It's like a reunion. It's like
it is.
It's like a podcast reunion.
That's right. I didn't even think about that. It is a podcast reunion. Why is that? Let's tell them why it's a podcast reunion, Kate.
Because we together as a union were the Flashers briefly.
For about 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. But we were amazing, okay?
What was the Flashers about?
We're so funny. We broke down the show The Flash.
That's right.
And we were amazing at it. And I stand behind the fact that we got Iris to go from wearing more sexy attire to still being sexy, but still being like, oh yeah, Iris is smart. I stand by that. And remember we got the mom who played Jane the Virgin, Jane the Virgin's mom liked one of our Instagram posts. Remember that?
I don't remember that. Really? Where was I? I totally forgot.
Yes! I lost it because I love Jane the Virgin, and then why don't I know her name? I'm going to look it up.
I have no idea what you just said. I think you cut out. So for everyone at home, we are recording remotely. So if you hear some sound quality issues, if you hear some delays, if we have to go back and ask each other to repeat, please bear with us because, as you know, if you aren't listening to this in present day, it is June of 2020, and basically the whole country is about to go on in lockdown again. So we are recording remotely. Miss Kate is in one state, I am in another, and we're going to try to make this work so we could bring you some good content. And if you are in the future, if there is a future listening to this, hopefully you have learned from all of our mistakes and you are living in a vibrant, beautiful community, probably under a dome because, you know, the environment is probably shit, you know? Try to remember us fondly. Some of us were doing our best.
Yeah, we really
What
were.
exactly are you drinking today, Kate?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked. Okay, so my friend Jerry actually introduced me to this. This is Last Lions, crafted in Chattanooga, which is where I am. Camille's in Tennessee. Or Texas. I'm in Tennessee.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Tennessee vodka. It's actually really good. I was a 310 vodka girl, but now I'm all about Last Lion. So here, Last Lions, plural. There it is.
Nice bottle. It's a big bottle.
It is. They have some other ones that I haven't tried yet. There's like a hibiscus one. I don't know. I'll try some other ones. I'll force myself upon the show and try the other ones.
So you're drinking vodka cranberries?
But I am. I wanted blood orange because I really love freshly juiced blood orange with vodka and lime and a little bit of sparkling water to make it fancy. And it's so good. It's so refreshing.
Sounds good.
And you feel fancy. It is so good. But I also have Old Smoky moonshine, and that is made in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is 2.5 hours from Chattanooga. It was closer when I lived in Knoxville. I've never had moonshine, so should I do that now?
I think you should. I think you have to. As a duty-bound guest of the show, you are obligated to do so. Yeah, so what are we talking about today?
Today, I am going to talk to you guys about the Reed House in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
The Reed.
This area has a...
The Reed?
Reed House, like READ.
Okay, cool.
It's a fancy schmancy hotel. I'm going to start from the very, very beginning to like lay the foundation for this dear ghost of ours. Okay? And I'm going to cast everybody. I'm going to give this story like it's a movie.
Ooh,
all right?
All right. Fancy.
So help me cast people. I sent you one picture where I was like, I don't know how to cast this guy. All right. So this is going to end up about Annalisa Netherly. All right. We're going to work our way to that girl.
All right, fam, we got to record a quick ad for the friends at Boozed Pod. So just act normal, act supernatural, and then...
super... What's up, Boozed Pod family? There are too many movies. You like movies?
You like funny things?
Because like watching movies and then listening to people talk about the movies that you just fucking watched.
You will love a podcast called There Are Too Many Movies. It's comedy, it's trivia, it's games, it's everything you want.
Where can you find it, Chris?
It's on the internet, family.
There are too many movies.
Right, like we're in Tennessee. So there are other supposed, quotation fingers, ghosts at the Reed House, right? Especially because of the Confederacy, right? But we're not gonna focus on those guys because the ghosts of the fucking Confederacy are very much alive today. So we don't need
they don't need any more of our attention.
Right. So we're actually gonna start with Andrew Jackson. Okay. Andrew Jackson. So I cast in this version of my movie, he's a piece of shit with Voldemort's robes on. Okay. The area where the Reed House, which is the hotel here in Chattanooga, is actually in an area called Ross's Landing. Okay. Ross's Landing was the former name of Chattanooga. Okay. So who's Ross?
They were on a break.
Ross? I know, right? That's exactly what I thought. It's like Ross. Fucking Ross.
I mean, they were on a break.
They were, but oh my gosh, like, how could you have sex with somebody like right after that happened?
Listen, I get it.
Come on, dude.
I get it. I've always been on Ross's side on that one. I'm not ashamed. Sorry, not
really.
Sorry, not sorry. They were on a break.
No one told you life was gonna be this way.
So, Ross's Landing, the former name of Chattanooga. Ross was John Ross. John Ross actually became a Cherokee chief. He was part Scottish and his mom was part Cherokee. So he actually was raised within the Cherokee Nation. I'm going to mess it up, so please forgive me. His Native American name is Son Eustace?
Yeah.
Because he was actually a pretty big deal. And I just felt like it was necessary to mention him. Like, we'll work up to Annalisa Netherly, which is what we're here for. But, we got to lay the foundation. There's a lot of history whenever it comes to the Reed Hotel that I felt was important to talk about in a drunken stupor.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
John Ross, chief of the Cherokee Nation. He was a badass, okay? He's the reason why, obviously, Ross's Landing, a.k.a. Chattanooga, was named Ross's Landing. We have a Ross Avenue. We got some little things that are like tribute to Ross. But you know what? He deserved keeping the name Ross Landing. Here's the thing about Chattanooga. The name Chattanooga is actually from a Creek Indian word. Okay?
Okay.
So at this time, whenever he was the Cherokee Nation chief, they were actually doing really well after like the Creek War and everything. And John Ross, he was like, hey guys, your little stupid fucking federal commissioners are trying to... Am I allowed to curse?
You're allowed to curse.
Okay, just want to make sure. I'm gonna make them talk. They were like, you guys are trying to fuck me out of my land, and was like, I'm gonna do everything to protect you guys, the Cherokee people. And so during this time, the government put him in jail, confiscated his house, and Andrew Jackson, who we determined is played by a piece of shit in this movie, cloaked in Voldemort's robes, was all like, I don't give a shit about any of this because I'm a piece of shit. I suck. Nobody likes me, but I'm still going to basically be like the reason for the Trail of Tears. And Ross, remember Ross's Landing, the name of Chattanooga, was like, hey, could you not? And so basically because of the Indian Removal Act, Ross did in fact have to lead his people through the Trail of Tears to Oklahoma. So again, that's why I cast Andrew Jackson as I did, because
a literal piece of shit.
That's not good. Right. But then American settlers were like, hey, we're here now. This is our place. Let's call this town, named after a Native American, Chattanooga, which is derived from the Creek Nation. That means rock coming to a point. Now, if that's not white, I don't know what is. I'm going to come in, change a Native American name,
right,
or
to
a
make you all
meaning,
leave.
but then just use a Native American name or word anyway.
Right.
So here's why I'm talking about Ross's Landing as opposed to using Chattanooga. At this time, a dude named Thomas Crutchfield was like, you know what? I'm a deal with all this. Like, by all this, I mean the land. So he was like, I'm going to make a deal with the Western and Atlantic Railroad. There's a lot of, there's some railroad tracks throughout Chattanooga. Thomas Crutchfield was like, hey, Western and Atlantic Railroad, if you guys can bring me some track and a station, I'll bid you guys a hotel. A hotel. I said that weird. Hotel. He was like, guys, Chattanooga, aka Ross's Landing, is poppin'. So like, you will bring your tracks and stations here, and I'll build this like super fucking cool hotel. Like, you got it? And like, your like passengers will come and stay and just get it in, you know? And the Western Atlantic Railroad was like, yeah, that sounds great. Then in 1843, I wish you guys could see my hands. Like, my hands are doing so much work.
A lot of hand acting going on.
A lot of hands. But Thomas was like, wow, I'm so smart. And I'm such a good businessman. This is going to be so fucking lit.
Yeah.
So Thomas Crutchfield Jr. was like, yeah, I'll take it over. It's not a big deal. I'm not doing anything. I'll just make this happen. So for Thomas Crutchfield Jr., I have cast 1, Mark Addy, Robert Baratheon of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Look up Thomas Crutchfield Jr. He was actually ended up being a mayor of Chattanooga. When I saw him, I was like, this is the guy. Mark Addy is the guy. Robert Baratheon is the mayor of Chattanooga and the owner of the Crutchfield house. Okay. So Robert Baratheon made that hotel what his dad wanted it to be. People were like, this place is the shit. Nothing bad will ever happen here. Like, not bad energy. Luck out the wazoo. It's just so amazing. Okay. This was the Crutchfield house. And then one day, Jefferson Davis, aka the Confederacy president, stayed at the hotel. And it's like, wow, what an honor. The president of the Confederacy is at my hotel. But also, that should give you an indication, even though, like, the Confederacy, boo.
So we should always just say that. The Confederacy, boo.
Boo, you whore.
Boo. They suck. Their ghosts don't need to be mentioned. Oh, like, you're there. We get it.
Wish you weren't.
Jefferson Davis, yeah, like, you're just, like, you suck. Like, that should give you some idea of the prestige and the elegance of the hotel at the time that the president of the Confederacy stayed there, right? With this war coming about, having this hotel is probably not a good business idea. So he sold it. And he was just like, I'm out. Thank you, but no thank you. And so, like many things in the South, like big areas or big buildings, the Crutchfield house did become a hospital. So then, like, they survived the siege of the Union troops. But then Chattanooga flooded hella bad. This was the worst flood so far ever in Chattanooga. Okay. And this is in the 1800s. And the hotel was flooded with like 5 feet of water, like the first floor, 5 feet of water in there. So, the hotel survived that. They were like, hey, we're a hotel. Fuck you guys and your sieges and your water. We're invincible. And then the hotel was destroyed by a fire. So the Reed House was burned down and an office building was built in the area. The ashes of the Crutchfield house was built. Okay. Little office building.
Okay.
And then the Reeds of the Reed Hotel, they were like, hey, you know what? I get that this is an office building, but you know what? I see like a hotel should just be there. So I imagine them as 1800s version of Chip and Joanna Gaines. Okay.
So much shiplap. So much shiplap.
So much shiplap. So 1800s Chip and Joanna Gaines are cast by Olivia Munn and Jake Busey. Look up Jake Busey. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He is the perfect casting for Chip Gaines. Look him up right now.
Okay. Hold on, Jake. Is this
Here's how
Gary
I realized
Busey's
this.
son?
Yes, Gary Busey's son.
He looks just fucking like Jesus.
Right?
And yeah,
he looks like Gary Busey.
A good Chip Gaines, yeah, for sure.
Right? So, anyway, 1800s Chip and Joanna Reed were like, this needs to be a hotel, not an office space. So, like, this is what I envision. Like, we need an open concept. I don't give a shit.
I hate it already.
I don't care. It's a hotel.
I hate it already.
This is historically inaccurate. But they're like, I don't care if it's a hotel. We need open concept. Who cares? Chip and Joanna Reed are refurbishing the Reed House, right? Mm-hmm. This is now the Reed House. It was the Crutchfield House. It is now the Reed House that is owned by Sheraton. So it's the Sheraton Reed House now, but that name still remained. And then in 1925, there were some new owners, but they still kept the Reed House name. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And that's where Annalisa had her story begin, with the Reed House in the 20s, whenever there were 414 rooms. Annalisa Netherly. This is where we get to the haunting tale. She is the queen bee of ghosting this hotel. Okay?
She never calls.
Annalisa.
She never texts. She just ghosted. I'm sorry, that was a weird, bad joke. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, so don't feel bad, because I was like, the queen bee of ghosting. The queen bee of ghosting, like bee ghosting.
What?
Nope.
No.
You can't even register.
I just love how confident you were in both, one, that joke working, and also it not working. Like, you knew it could go one of two ways, and you leaned in no matter what.
You know? So, we've got new owners as of 1925, and there's this big-ass hotel, 414 rooms, and the heroine of our story is Annalisa Netherly, who I have cast as Annie Murphy, aka Alexis Rose. So Annalisa Netherly was in room 311 of the Reed Hotel. She was getting some relaxy time. She was in the bathtub, and she was slit from ear to ear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Basically almost decapitated by what is presumed her husband, who was jealous because she had taken on another lover. Okay?
Get it.
Right. And, you wonder why she wanted to have another lover, because you're the kind of asshole who would come in while I'm taking a bath and slit my fucking throat and basically decapitate
me. That's exactly what I was talking about, okay? This kind of behavior is just really unnecessary. You overreact on everything, okay? Like, this is the train station incident all over again, okay? That's what I'm talking about.
You are literally always cutting my throat. And this time, too far.
Too far.
Too far. So one of the other things that I find super ridiculous. So she's basically decapitated. Some people say she was completely decapitated. Others are like, her head was, kind of attached.
It was there.
Is that right? Like, well, she might have just tried to commit suicide. It's like, do you really think she would try to commit suicide via almost decapitation?
Yeah. I mean, and in general, I feel like if murder shows have taught me nothing else, cutting your own throat is a very difficult way to complete suicide or die by suicide. Like,
right?
It takes a lot of mental and physical strength to do it. like, you could probably stab yourself in the throat, but like to slit your throat is almost
to the point.
Yeah, almost unheard of for someone completing suicide.
Right. And they're like, oh, she committed suicide because she was in a jealous rage. And I'm like, bullshit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
She's in a jealous rage. She almost decapitated herself.
No one's that angry.
Fuck you guys who think that. Right? Like, that's ridiculous. So I'm sticking with the other folklore of this area is that she was actually a prostitute in the Civil War era, which is also ridiculous. I'm like, okay, that's a big time jump. Speaking of the Flash, we're just like in the Speed Force going back and forth. Like, that's such a time jump. This is the 1920s.
Yeah.
And you're saying that she was a prostitute in the Civil War. Come on.
Yeah, so, that's a bit much.
But, right. But the predominant story is that it was the 20s. She was in the bathtub of room 311 of the Reed House, and her throat was slit to the point where she was almost decapitated. Some people say she was completely decapitated. So she has been described as having, well, there's two descriptions. Some have said that she has brown hair that's up and she's wearing a white evening gown. That part has been consistent, the white evening gown part and the hair being up.
Okay.
One person said that she was brunette. Others have said that she's blonde. So I just was like, okay, so she has like a balayage thing going on where she's like a blonde. She's got a little bit of both.
She's got ombre hair. It's very...
She
goes from brown
was
to blonde.
ahead of her time. Even though it's in an updo, like we can tell.
She was in quarantine. Her roots had grown out. It was a hard time for everyone.
It's not a big deal. But yeah, and that she is beautiful. That she's a hottie. Here's what I love about these sightings is that most consistently she is wearing a white gown, an evening gown. She was murdered in a bathtub. So, anybody, explain to me.
A ghost loves a white dress. I mean, if we've learned nothing else, it's the color du jour for a haunting. From La Llorona, from the Lady of White Rock Lake. It's ghost and water, women and water and white dresses. It's like American Pie. It's as American as racism. It's what happens. It's just what happens.
Let me have a sip of this moonshine as a cheers to that. Fuck you, racism. The thing is with Annalisa, she really likes to appear to children. She likes children. And she kind of reveals the most to children. She just like gets down. She's like, hey, cool toys. Love it. Let's be friends. Tell your mom that you saw me, a ghost, because adults like get super freaked out when kids talk about ghosts. Ha 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 ha. I'm such a good ghost.
Ghosting 101.
I'm so good at ghosting. I'm literally so good at ghosting. Like, imagine that as Annie Murphy. Like, I'm so good at this.
I love this journey for me as a ghost.
Yay me. A little bit of Annalisa.
Exactly.
But yeah, but she also is like with the kids, like, by the way, I'm pregnant.
Oh.
but I was pregnant when I was murdered. So you should also ask your parents, like, how I got pregnant. Making it double hard because you have to talk to your kids about ghosts and pregnancy. I'm such a good ghost.
Goodness.
But for real though, like there are some times, I guess, especially with children, where she feels more comfortable, where her ghost entity will show up as more pregnant, which is interesting. Yeah. Like if I could like show how much I weigh, like if I could change that, what a gift. What a gift.
You probably wouldn't choose pregnant.
No, but like just like being a rounder, fuller, I'd be like, yeah, I can make myself not look pregnant to the adults. So yeah, so she likes kids. She does not like men.
Who does?
I'm sure you can guess why. Probably because one killed her. Especially if a man was smoking in her room.
Rude.
Do not fucking smoke in Annalisa's room. She will put your cigarette out and she will fuck with you. Okay? And you know what? That's fair.
It is fair.
Like, I cannot disagree with that. So one of the things that she's been known to do is just sit on the bed next to a man and just be like, hey, I hate you. So I'm going to sit next to you and freak you the fuck out.
Did she actually say that? Is she just like, look at him, I hate you?
That would be so amazing. She's just like, hey, look at me. I look amazing in my white gown, and you're the fucking worst.
I hope you die. I literally hope you seeing me, a ghost, gives you a heart attack and you die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame Annalisa for any of the things. So yeah, and one guy said that she threw a lamp at him. Okay, I feel like that's a lie.
Dramatic. Being dramatic. So.
If you're so shitty, like I feel like that's a lie unless you're Donald Trump. Like absolutely, she threw a fucking lamp at you if you came into this hotel, without a doubt. I don't know if I'm allowed to say things like that. But I did. I don't know about politics.
I mean, you're allowed to.
You just cut it out.
No, I mean, I typically don't. Like, if anyone's listening to this show and they don't know what my politics are by now, then they've not been listening to this fucking show. Maybe go back to, like, episode 1, start from there, and, work your way up.
Yeah.
FYI,
that's the hardest part.
Despite how I sound right now, I am a Black woman. And I am a liberal.
What? What?
And also a little gay. So, anyway.
A little gay?
I'm also a little gay. So, if any of that doesn't gel with what you believe in, I mean, keep listening to the show. Maybe give me some money because you should feel guilty. You should feel bad.
I told you guys.
Donate to my Patreon.
Exactly. So she's known to show up with children. At one point, a kid went to the bathroom and he ran out all freaked out. His dad was waiting for him and he's like, there's a lady in there. And his dad ran in there and he was like, I don't see anybody. So Annalisa doesn't just haunt room 311. She's like, fuck you guys. I'm going all over this damn place. Okay, so there's also reportedly other ghosts, right? Because the hotel, whenever it was the Crutchfield House, was used for a hospital for the Confederacy. And so, yeah, there's a lot of other supernatural things happening. But again, Annalisa, Queen Bee. So, some of the things that people have said is that most frequently water running in the room, which makes sense considering she died in a bathtub. Or I'm sorry, not died, murdered in a bathtub.
Right.
Some people have seen images or like, like basically what you see in those ghost shows where it's like this little like dot, this little figure.
Like the orbs?
Where you're like, yeah, like where you're like, is that a ghost or is that just your camera? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But some people have said that they've straight up seen a person hovering over their bed.
Gross. Don't like it.
That's hella scary, right? Another couple said that somebody kept opening drawers. Like they would go back and close drawers and they're like, nah, I'm opening them.
Mm.
So here's one of my favorite stories though, is there was a guy who worked at the hotel and he worked there for like 30 years and he was like, yeah, there's a ghost there. But he wasn't super he was just kind of, I don't know, in denial about it. And so finally, this was in the 90s. He was like, all right, I'm going to go in this room, 311, the Reed House, and I'm going to put on this football game.
Okay.
So I guess he left the door propped open and he said this lady shows up at the door. She's just staring at him. So, right, this is more than likely Annalisa. And it's like, okay, can I help you? And again, she's not saying anything. She's just staring at him. And so he's like, okay, well, she's not saying anything. The door closes. He goes to call the front desk to see if, there's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to open the door and she's just gone. Just vanishes. And so that was like his first sighting of her. And he's the one that described her as blonde and very pretty. So even after working there for like 30 years, he was kind of avoiding it. And it's like, she's super pretty. The Reed Hotel, remember this was in the 90s that this guy was, his story. The Reed Hotel went under a major renovation. And they actually turned room 311, which I'm kind of unsure of. I've just bought a trench coat on clearance from Target. There's a reason for this, right?
Okay.
So I have a trench coat and I'm like, oh, cool. Like most of us are wearing masks. So if I just put a mask on and sunglasses, I can just walk in there. Just sneak in.
Sure, just like the Unabomber and sneak into
a
hotel.
But if I have like a nice do, I'll seem sophisticated.
Right. Sure.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
So when I get a call from your husband saying you've been arrested for suspected terrorism.
I'm here for Annalisa.
Wait, so is your plan to see Annalisa or to impersonate her?
To impersonate her, we need a fancy ass evening gown, apparently.
I mean, you could wear it under the trench coat. That's what I'm seeing. Like you sneaking in and the trench coat is covering the white gown. And then you just start going around trying to haunt everybody in the hotel.
See here, I'm a detective of ghosts, but I'm actually Annalisa, never they.
Exactly.
Here's one of the more interesting facts that I absolutely loved. So Annalisa, cut from ear to ear, almost decapitated. Al Capone actually stayed in that room. In the 30s. Yeah, when he was awaiting his trial for oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the word. Tax
Wasn't he
evasion.
like for tax evasion? Yeah.
Yeah, tax evasion. They actually had bars put up on the windows of 311, and they were eventually removed, and all that, so he couldn't escape. So he was in room
Wait, so like
311.
the police were the police like putting him up in this nice hotel for some reason? I don't understand why they would install bars if he was like, why not just put him in prison?
Yeah, this was very confusing considering the geographics of where Al Capone was. But he was in Chattanooga for some reason, in room 311 with Annalisa and bars on his windows, awaiting his trial for tax evasion.
Okay.
And
We'll do it. We'll accept that.
Yeah, I gotta look more into that, but that's about what I got. I was like, this makes no sense, but I'll take it. And here's why I'll take it. Because Al Capone, aka Scarface, who has, this scar that was more than likely caused by someone's knife, Annalisa didn't reportedly mess with him. Now, she doesn't like men. Scarface, Al Capone is not like a gentleman per se.
Right.
But the talk of the town is that because of his scar and Annalisa's more than likely, nobody said that she had a scar while she was a ghost, made her kind of soften toward Al Capone, where she was like, oh, I see you.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to mess with you. Because you were also fucked up in some sort of way. I got you, boo. Yeah. But yeah, so the Reed Hotel had a renovation fairly recently. And they made room 311 look like what would have been appropriate for Annalisa's time in which she was murdered. So they have like an AM radio that doesn't work, which is very unfortunate. I sent you the pictures. Did you get the pictures?
I did. It's a lovely room.
It's beautiful, right? There's a clawfoot tub, a pull chain toilet, antique furnishings, distressed hardwood floors. There's no television. It's truly beautiful. Some of the things that have happened in there that people have said is that there's flickering lights, unexplained noises. Some people have said that there's been somebody who's touched them, probably Annalisa. Here's the interesting part is within this renovation, room 311, the construction crew could not open room 311. They went through and they were taking all the doors off, and they could not remove the door to 311. And this has happened before where they were like, yes, the locks work fine, but sometimes she doesn't let people in, which is fair. That's my fucking room. Like, I mean, I'm going to speak on behalf of Annalise
my room, Mom.
Right? So they actually had to take a saw and saw out a part of the door to get inside.
Oh wow.
Like they couldn't unscrew it. They genuinely could not get into the door any other way. Yeah, because Annalisa is like, no. So I read one blog and they have pictures, and I'll send it to you, in which they show that room 313, it's deadbolted. So 313 might have actually been the original space in which Annalisa was murdered, because room 311 has a regular modern, key card entrance, whereas 313 has a key card entrance and a deadbolt. So within the renovation, there might have been a shift where what they are calling 311 and decorated for that time period would actually be more architecturally accurate for room 313 in the building. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a little tricky. It helps with the pictures. Essentially, the picture shows, okay, 311, same old, same old. 313, same old with a deadbolt. So, yeah. So maybe they changed things up. Which, the room for Annalisa, it's not just you walk in and there's a room with a bed. There's also like a living room area. There's the bathroom. It's almost like a suite, I would say, from the pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Annalisa. She was murdered in a bathtub, slit in the throat, basically decapitated, and she's at the Reed House in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and people have seen her since the 20s. When I first moved to Chattanooga and I started becoming friends with Jerry and his wife Katie, I feel like they were the first people who told me about the haunting in room 311. There wasn't a name. There wasn't a name to the ghost. But they, for a while, the Reed House was not renting that room out. They were like, better not. But then once they renovated it, it's become, they've allowed people to rent it. And again, it doesn't change. Like, it's still very much decorated for Annalisa. Here's the thing. Like, thank you, but you gave me a room with an AM radio that does not work. I am haunting this entire hotel. You think in this time, since the 20s, I haven't seen a motherfucking TV? Why does my room have a non-working AM radio?
Where's my high
And the
def?
one time,
Where's my 4K, bitch?
When you did have a TV in my room, I find somebody watching fucking football in my room. Let me tell you, if I was the ghost, I would be pissed. I would be just like Annalisa, staring at your dumbass at my door and be like, why do you have football on? I don't care about sports. Get out of my room. Please turn that shit off. Thank you.
You can go now.
I don't. You should be working, honestly, because you're not a guest. You're working here.
Do your job.
I am also working. Do your job, get the hell out of my room, and turn this shit off. Thank you. Would you not be annoyed as hell if you were a ghost and someone's sitting on your bed putting something on the TV you don't give a shit about?
I mean, if I'm forced to sit there and watch it as well, then yes. If I could, like, go...
But it's your room.
Yeah, but I mean, if I could be like, if I could... Here's your options. Like, you can either haunt them to the point where they leave when you notice it, or you can be like, you know what, I'll come back later. I guess I'll go haunt the hallway for a minute, see something new, go down to the bar, see what's happening, go creep out some fucking children and tell them about sex.
I think I smell cigarette smoke. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Like, I don't know. There's like those ghosts that you see who seem to be stuck on a loop. So they can't leave a certain area. They can't break a certain schedule, let's say, or path of behaviors. So I feel like if I have enough agency as a ghost to then just do like multiple things or go wherever the fuck I want when I want, I'm like, fuck this room. I died here. I don't want to be here all day.
Well, here's the thing is that she doesn't just haunt room 311. she's like, I own this hotel. I don't care. I'll go wherever I want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if it's between me having to sit in a room with a guy watching something I don't want to watch versus, I guess I'll go haunt something else for a minute until you're done. I might choose, I mean, unless what kind of mood I'm in, I guess, like if I just want to be alone in my room, which is all the time, I might be like, dude, I'm going to haunt you until you leave. Otherwise, I'd be like,
I would.
fine, I'll just go somewhere else, I guess. Go find some children to terrorize.
Like if it was, I guess some children to tell I'm pregnant so they can ask where babies come from to their parents. Where do ghosts and ghost babies come from?
Where do ghost babies come from?
That's actually really
what's
sad.
Decapitation? Like, wait, what? Where did you hear that word, Timmy? I don't understand.
I wonder how, like, do ghost entities appear in different ways? Like, it's never been reported that Annalisa has, like, a scar on her neck. It's just that she's this blonde/brunette, beautiful 20s aged woman in a white evening gown.
Well, I think you have to, like,
do some.
There could be the theory of if they have so much energy at a certain point in time, maybe they appear more corporeal than other times, based on the situation. But you also have to remember, like, people are not good eyewitnesses to things.
Right.
So, you know, if you saw her and for some reason you were able to recognize her as being this ghost, or she did something weird, or you saw something freaky happen when you saw her, that's going to alter your memory a bit. And so you're going to be like, oh no, she was blonde. Well, I thought she was a brunette, or maybe she would have been both, or I don't know, I just saw her disappear into a wall, so I don't remember. Or maybe it was like very sunny today in the lobby. I don't know. There's just so many factors that could determine what a ghost would appear like, apart from, you know, people maybe wanting to make the story more interesting to them. Like maybe it could just be a dude who likes blondes over brunettes, you know?
Embellish it.
Right.
Yeah. So the Reed House did their renovation with their non-working radio and beautifully designed room. And then they started to rent the room out. There was the Reed House Haunted Room 311 experience. Package starts at $666, aka 666, Satan's favorite number. I know, right? And I feel like if I were a ghost, I'd be like, hey, could you not put 666 in there? I'm not down with Satan. He's not my homie just because I'm a ghost. Thank you. And could you get me a working fucking radio? Thank you very much. Right? Like, that's so... Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, not all ghosts are demons or, you know, evil spirits.
Right? Like, we are fighting so many stereotypes in general. Who would have known ghosts were as well?
The struggle is real and far-reaching, apparently.
It really is. So some of the accommodations for this experience are valet parking, and I don't know what this means. A decanter of bathtub gin?
A bottle of gin.
What is that? Bathtub gin, though? Like, I'm like, is there Annalisa's blood in it? Like,
either they made it in someone's bathtub, like it's supposed to be like moonshiny or some shit.
Yeah.
Or they're just calling that because she died in the bathtub and you're meant to drink it in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheap.
So there you have
Cheesy
it.
And cheap.
Yeah. So there you have it. You've got Annalisa, this 20-something-year-old, more than likely, possibly pregnant woman who was just trying to take a bath, gets slit all up, practically decapitated by somebody she had sex with, possibly her husband, possibly another lover, and is just there for hours until somebody finds her. Apparently, there's no detectives who, and Annalise has no family whatsoever. So she's just like this. That's it. She's just Annalisa, dead in the bathtub, and haunting the shit out of the Reed Hotel in Chattanooga.
Oh dear.
Would you go into room 311?
I mean, just for the furnishings alone, I would be interested. I really love.
Right?
I love. It's so pretty. I love vintage anything. To be honest,
In like the Art Deco 1920s, like exquisite.
It's a beautiful room. I would definitely go. I would probably sleep in there. I love a clawfoot tub. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. It's such a beautiful bathroom.
It's a really cute room.
What a beautiful place to die in.
You know, if you gotta go, why not in a clawfoot tub?
Ah, that's so sad. It truly is sad.
The dream.
But what a beautiful room.
Sucks for her, but I mean, the decor.
It's amazing. Can you post the pictures of the room? Because it's, I mean...
Yeah, I'll get some to post so that everyone can see. If they don't want to Google it themselves, they can go to our Instagrams pages. Thank you for that tale. What I like to ask my guests, what do you have any personal experiences that you are willing and able to share at this time? Or what do you believe ghosts are? So let's start with, do you have any personal experiences that you would like to share at this time? Yes. I mean, you can or you can't. It doesn't matter.
So I'll just go ahead and tell the story of the farmhouse, because there's only so much I remember from my parents telling me. So when I was a baby, I lived in Missouri, and we lived in an old farmhouse, and my sister, who is 3 years older than me, would talk to this person, and I guess it was different than an imaginary friend. She would answer questions like about us, about her family. She wasn't just rambling things. It was very direct. It was very, it just wasn't there. There wasn't this imaginative conversation.
Right. There's nothing playful to it.
Right. And, obviously that freaked my mom out. And I'd have to ask her. I actually meant to call her today. But the one thing that I do know of is that my dad, ever since I've known him, not just when I was a baby, but throughout my time living with him, he always would come home after work, put his wallet, keys, and typically chapstick. He always had chapstick, not like the original chapstick with like the black label.
Okay.
On the dresser. And in Missouri, in this farmhouse, they could not find his wallet and keys. Like, absolutely could not. And they finally found, I don't remember where they found his keys, but they found his wallet on this really tall bookshelf behind a picture frame. Like the very top shelf. And I mean, yeah, like that you know what I mean? Like, and here's the funny thing is that I feel like, do you believe in ghosts is kind of this segue question between like, okay, we're acquaintances. Are we about to be friends? Depending on this answer of, do you believe in ghosts? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is a... Like,
well, we're already friends, so...
Well, I know. But I've had other friends where like, do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like a family tale. I don't know if I've had any personal ones.
Gotcha. So what would you say, I mean, what do you believe ghosts to be? I mean, if you have a belief in ghosts, what would you say? Are they like energy? Do you feel it's more of a religious connection, or?
You know, I've thought about this often. I don't, especially with what my parents told me with the farmhouse in Missouri. I don't not believe in ghosts. Like I think I believe. I don't know if I believe what people have made them to be. Like I think people like to embellish a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think I believe that this energy, this entity exists. I'm not going to knock it.
Okay.
Absolutely. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't doubt that Annalisa exists. I really don't. I think she's there doing her thing. And we're going to talk about that. Yeah, can we talk about that for a little bit?
Okay. Yeah.
What would you do? Like, say you and me go into room 311. I feel like I know my approach. How would you just sit there, minus like how beautiful the room is? Boring because there's nothing in there but a broken ass radio. But how would you be if you saw or knew Annalisa could be there?
I would like to think I would be very like open and calm and accepting of the presence. I would like to think it would all feel like a positive experience. But legit, like if something materialized in the room I'm in right now, I would probably lose my fucking mind.
Right?
I feel like I would be like, holy fucking shit, Kate, I have to go right now.
Oh my God, there's fucking somebody behind you. It's Annalisa.
I would probably pee my pants and try to. I mean, I think it's one of those things you don't know how you would react, really, though, because I've never been put in that particular situation.
Right.
So as much as I think it really just comes down to that moment, whether your fight or flight instinct takes hold. And I think it would also depend on like how an entity would manifest itself. Like if it's very calm,
right,
and maybe like non-threatening in a way, like you'd be like, okay, you're over there, I see you, cool. Like as long as you stay the fuck over there, be good.
Your dress
like,
is beautiful.
I love the dress. The hair is working. Where'd you go, girl? Hook me up with your stylist. But like if it's one of those things where you see like in scary movies where it's like a fucking demon wanting to throw you against walls and like fuck your shit up.
Right.
And yeah, definitely a different kind of reaction. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like I know while recording there have been times where there'll be like a loud noise or unexpected knock or something while we're recording will fall or I'll hear a noise and I'm always like, yeah. There's been a couple of times. I think I've cut them out of most episodes.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, so there's been a couple of times where there'll be like a noise and I can't remember who it was with. There was one in particular where I don't know if I cut it out of the episode or not now that I'm thinking about it, but there was definitely a point where we heard a noise and I got up to investigate like the dumb girl in every horror movie.
Don't you know? You, of all people, should not, because Black people are the first to die. Do not.
Exactly. And I stood my ass up and I went and I checked out what the weird noise was.
Been around too many white people.
Exactly. So, yeah. It's really hard to pinpoint. I think it'll be one of those things where I have to wait till it happens. And in some ways I want it to happen. And in other ways I'm like, I'm good. No, thank
you.
I'd rather not. No, thanks. No, thank you. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird to think about how you would react because you can't know.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, will Annalisa hear me talking about? Is she gonna show up? Would you go and would you come with me to the Reed Hotel? Not stay the night. I could not stay the night. I believe a little too much to stay the night. But would you go with me?
I would definitely go.
Because I think they do tours. There are ghost tours in Chattanooga.
I would definitely go see it. If, we get enough Patreon support, maybe I'd stay there
right?
for a night, see what happens, do a live broadcast. That'd be fun.
This is how I imagine myself to be with Annalisa. Mm-hmm. And you're there with me because there's no way in hell I'm there alone. So we're in there and
understood.
In this beautiful room. I am more than likely got my Bible with me just in case.
One of us should.
Yeah. Like I'm like, hey Anna, I'm here, but I love Jesus. Okay, I say the F word a lot, but I'm with him. Okay.
He's my homeboy.
Like he's my dude. I'm not denying you, but like I got him, so please don't come for me. Thank you. So like let's just talk because honestly, I'm so sorry. Like I'll go into like counselor mode and be like, I'm like, and I really thought about this. I've been thinking about this for days. I'm like, I am so sorry that happened to you. And it's so lovely that they made this room for you. But ultimately, like, I understand your anger because they are making a profit off of your murder. Right?
Shame. Yeah.
It's a little sad. Like, if I was a ghost, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, thank you for this room.
Can you maybe help me cross over instead?
Right? Like,
can you do something positive instead of capitalism?
Right? Like, that would, like, if I was a ghost, that would really piss me off. Like, I do not blame Annalise at all. So basically, I imagine us all having a heart-to-heart. She's finally like, wow, I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel like I have girlfriends. I don't feel like I'm just a pawn in this economic, financial scheme. And thank you for that. You know?
Yeah. I'd have to, you'd be like the calming psychic on whenever, like there's always there's those ghost hunting teams that have like the one psychic person who's always trying to like help the ghost go into the light or whatever. That would be you. You just have a counseling session though. You'd be like, I really can't help you with the paranormal part, but let's talk this through. Let's journal some feelings and
you can hold a pencil, right? Like
you can, yeah.
I don't mean to stereotype ghosts, but like, can you hold a pencil?
Can you hold a pencil though? Like, can you? Okay. I know it takes a lot of energy. But I feel like if you really write this shit down, it could help.
Like, do you need, like, from what I understand from that guy in the 90s, you didn't say anything. So you need to do like a Stranger Things, like, light thing? Have you seen that movie? Yeah. I know your room doesn't have a fucking TV in it, but we can go somewhere that does, and we can binge watch Stranger Things, you meet Camille, and then you can learn how to talk to me Ghost Morse code through the lamp. What do you see? Say, Annalisa.
Yes.
I feel like I would be
that's our show. It's ghost therapy with Camille and Kate.
I would totally do that. I was actually wondering, like, do you ever feel sad for the ghost? Because I genuinely feel so sad for Annalisa. Like, I like to think that Annalisa was this sassy gal in her
Modern
bathtub.
lady.
Yeah. Getting decapitated. I don't know. Maybe she does. But I don't know. especially if they were men, if they were Confederate men, she'd be like, I already don't like you because of your ghost penis. So be gone with your see-through man organs, man penis. I can't think of the word.
Take your genitalia and be gone.
Yes, genitalia. That's what it should be. Yeah.
Take your ghostly genitalia. Get the fuck out.
I'm so scared to think of the possibility of us going to that room, but I also really want to go to that room.
Well, we'll do it when I come visit. We'll go.
I'm so scared to do it.
We'll have to make it a very special episode.
I'm so scared to do it, but I really want to be like, I'm so sorry. Here's what I really want to do. This is why I need to use the trench coat. And you don't have to use any of this. This is genuinely just things that I was thinking about. I want to sneak in there. Like, I want to write her a note. And just be like, hey. Like, slide it under the door and be like, dude, I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know what this hotel is like, but I feel like you generally don't have to sneak into hotels. Like, they're pretty loosey-goosey with the security for the most part. I don't know, maybe an upscale hotel is different. I have not been into a lot of those. But I feel like if you just walk in there, like, you know what the fuck you're doing and like you're supposed to be there, they don't question you.
That's why I would have the trench coat. Nobody would question.
Well, I feel like the trench coat would make you more suspicious.
Only if it's not raining or there's not a mystery to solve.
This is true. So we have to go. So we must go on a rainy day and hopefully there's a mystery afoot.
Of course there's a mystery. So many people have died in that area.
All right. Well, Kate, was there anything else you would like to share with us today?
Come to Chattanooga when the pandemic is over. Go to the Reed Hotel. Do all that good stuff. Listen to Booze because Camille is amazing. Do everything that I say. And more. Just find me and I'll tell you what to do because you're probably not doing it right. Ghost.
Well, speaking of finding you, ghost. Drop mic.
Boom. Ghost be haunting.
Ghost. So, speaking of finding you, is there anywhere on the internet where you would like people to find you? Would you, if not, that's cool. If it's up to you.
Yeah, if they would love to find me, they can find me on Twitter at ojustkate27. I'm mainly going to talk about racism, how white people, my race suck, how people don't wear masks, maybe a couple of other funny things that are aside from all of the things that actually matter. But I think I'm funny, even when I'm sober. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. ojustkate27.
Awesome. Kate, love of my life. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and for your wonderful story. And if you would like to find us, we are at Boozed Pod on, we're at boozepod@gmail.com. I don't know why I was starting with the email address. Doesn't matter.
Because we are boozed.
You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram and the Facebooks. Boozed Pod is our handle. And if you would like to support the show, please, please, please go on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. You can write anything in the review box. Doesn't really matter, but give us 5 stars. Yeah, give us 5 stars, please. It would help us get noticed. And if you would like to financially support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/boozedpod. Or, hit me up if you want to make a one-time donation, and I can give you the information to do that as well. All right. So that's it for us today. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, get boozed. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Boozed. Our theme was composed by Vincent Parish. Sound production is done by Sydnee Johnson. You can find us on social media at Boozed Pod. That's BOOSED Pod. If you would like to support the show, please go to patreon.com/boozedpod to make a contribution. Thank you for listening. And don't forget, get boozed.